Hey gang, Luke Austin here with week 5 of my fantasy football favorites. Let's get you ready for this weekend's action. We've got a question to get to and some starts and sits. So at this point in the season, there's not a lot of players on the waiver wires that are really going to make a huge impact on your team. But we'll start off with the question from Mike from Utica. He wants to know if he should start Ben Roethlisberger this week. I say yes, go ahead. I know Roethlisberger's had a couple of rough weeks this season, but he is at home, and traditionally, historically, he's been really good at home, so I wouldn't be afraid to start Roethlisberger this week. I actually have to in one of my leagues. So moving along to some more starts for this week. Carlos Hyde, I really like against the Colts. 13-plus points every week this season in PPR leagues, plus the Colts have had trouble stopping running backs as well. Carlos Hyde, a big part of the 49ers offense. I think I told you a couple of weeks ago he's 75 to 80% of their offensive plays. So I really like Carlos Hyde this week. And Hunter Henry from the Chargers, their tight end, is facing a Giants defense that's allowed more receiving yards, touchdowns, and PPR points than anybody this season. So Hunter Henry, a good play for the Chargers this week. Now moving on to a couple of sits for this week. Amari Cooper, I'm down on. He's had a ton of drops this season, and the Ravens have been really tough on wide receivers. On top of that, no Derek Carr for the Raiders. So sit Amari Cooper if you can afford to. Tyrod Taylor, another sit from the Buffalo Bills. Their quarterback, they're facing a Bengals team that hasn't given up more than 185 passing yards on average this season. So if you can afford to sit Tyrod, go ahead and go with somebody else. And finally, the last sit I have this week, Martellus Bennett, the tight end for the Packers versus the Cowboys. Bennett really hasn't done much in their offense. In fact, most of the time he's been on the field in passing situations, he's been a blocker. He really hasn't even run that many routes or had that many targets. I know the Cowboys' defense is bad, but I would still say sit Martellus Bennett if you can afford to. It may even be coming to the point in the season where you could drop him. So that's what I have for you. Big Ben, Carlos Hyde, Hunter Henry, go with those guys. Sit Amari Cooper, Tyrod Taylor, and Martellus Bennett. You can send me your questions for Week 6. Luke at bigfrog104.com. Good luck in Week 5.